Hello, I'm Logan Bailey. Today I'm going to be showing you how to change a car tire. So first thing you want to do, if possible, park on a flat, level surface. And at this point we're going to put the car in park and set the parking brake. So now that the parking brake's set, we're going to pop the trunk and head back for our spare tire. At the back of your car, if you open up this flap, you will find your spare tire along with your tools. And on the left side of my car is my tool. So at this point, I will take out the spare tire and I will come back for the jack in just a moment. So an important thing, you may find it a bit hard to get your jack out of its holding container. You can loosen this bolt with your hand and you should be able to pop it out after that point. Be a little firm, but should be fairly simple to get out. So before we do anything with our jack, we're first going to grab our tool and take out the socket. And we're going to pop these lugs loose while your car is still on the ground. It's a bit hard to get them off while the car is lifted up on the jack. So pulling up, rotating to the counterclockwise direction, we can loosen these lugs. Last one's a bit firm. So now that we've got all of our lug nuts loose, we can go ahead and lower our jack using our hand to the correct height. So as I'm lowering the jack, I'll just explain. On my car particularly, there is an arrow that lines up with the correct point to place your jack. It would be best to check your owner's manual to find what is the best place for your particular car. And please be careful with cars, as it's very easy to damage the frame if you place the jack in the wrong location. Now, as I slide the jack under here, I'm going to line up the groove with this tongue and begin to hand raise the jack and situate it in the correct place. Now that I've gotten it raised by hand, I'm going to fit my lug wrench over this and begin to raise the jack. So since it's still pretty loose right now, I can twist it by hand. And as it gets harder, I'll need to bend the wrench closer in my direction to give myself more leverage to properly lift the car up. I will warn you, this process does take a bit of time, and your car is not designed to be up on a jack. So please be careful, mind where your arms and legs are, and please don't place anything under the car that you're not willing to risk being damaged. Yourself is included in that. As I'm jacking the car, I'm just going to watch my back tire. And you don't need much clearance off of the ground, about an inch will do. And an inch is actually better, as the greater you raise your car, the more unstable it will become. So right now, I think the bottom part of my tread is just barely touching the ground. So in a few more rotations, we should be ready to continue. Now that my tire is fully off of the ground, I'm going to come back in with the lug wrench and continue to rotate the tires in the counterclockwise direction in order to loosen the lug nuts. And it shouldn't take much once you break the lugs loose with your wrench. And you should realistically be able to loosen them with your hands. But if they're not able to come loose, feel free to use the wrench. And this bottom one's carrying a bit of weight on it, so I'm just going to take my wrench and loosen it just the smallest bit and then finish it off with my hand. Be sure to keep track of your lug nuts, as they are going to be very important for putting your spare tire onto the car. So now that all 5 of my lug nuts are loose, I'm going to carefully stoop down and remove the tire, rolling it away, placing it on its side. Now, if you were on a busy road or something, you would want to place your tire behind the car, out of the way of traffic or anything like that. But at this point, we can place the spare tire onto the car, putting the protruding side outward as your wheel assembly goes in this hollow area. So, lining up this hole with my top pin, I am going to place my tire back onto the holder and putting my lug nuts on just hand tight for now. And be careful not to cross thread it. It should be very easy to get your lug nuts on with your hand. If you feel any major resistance, back the lug nut off and restart. You should be able to find the correct thread after that. And you'll notice as you get 1 or 2 of the lug nuts hand tight, some of the other ones will become loose. That's just because you're sitting the tire fully onto the correct position. Now, with your car still in the air, you are going to go clockwise with your lug wrench, just giving a partial turn just to fully snug it up. You don't want to put a lot of force while your car is still in the air, because like I said, you are in an unstable position up here. So now that all of the lugs are somewhat tight, we are going to come back to our jack and go in the counterclockwise direction to loosen the jack and begin to let down the car. As you go, it'll be easier to turn the jack, and it can go a bit faster. Now that it's loose, I'm going to just finish it with my hand, get it out of the way. Now you're going to come back to your tire for one final time, and starting at the top lug, you are going to tighten down, and then like a star pattern, we're going to crisscross so we don't cause any damage to our tire or our lug nuts. So started here, second, third, I'm going to come up here, tighten down, then across again, and finally that. And with the securement of our final lug nut, we're ready to take our jack and our tire, put them back into the trunk, and drive to the nearest tire repair place or something of that sort to get you back on the road. A bit of a disclaimer, your spare tire is not the same size as your full-size tire. It is not designed to go the same speed. So interstate speed is not possible. You need to limit it to about 55 miles per hour. Thank you. Have a good day.